Hello and welcome to DCP episode 391, I believe. That number's getting big. We're getting close to 400.
9 away.
What are we doing for 400? I think something's got to happen, right? Like, we got to do something.
Well, like,
think on it.
maybe that'll be our D&D episode, because we did have some massive things happen last week, like
that's true,
hitting some pretty large donation goals.
That's true.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
Yes.
That was crazy. Was the final tally? It was like $51,000.
It was a little over 51,000. Yep.
Which was insane. $51,000 for St. Jude Children's Hospital. Massive thank you to the community for supporting that. I mean, it's so exciting to just see those donations roll in and like know where it's going, because now we've been doing this for a long time now, and
we have,
we're very familiar with what St. Jude Children's Hospital is doing, and it's so easy to support that charity, right? It's like the easiest charity to support. Don't you hate children's cancer? Yeah. I know that was a really fun stream though. We got a lot of things we got to do afterwards though. I made a lot of promises.
Number one being, well, the big one was the D&D episode. So that was our, I believe, 50K. So we just barely hit that. So we will be doing that episode at some point. But also, I will be editing a blooper reel of DCP. So I will need requests. I'm going to throw it here at the beginning. That way, as many people as possible can hear it. I need y'all to tweet out either me or DCP and let us know, like, hey, what is your funniest moment you remember from the show? What episode, the timestamp, all of that, so I can go grab it and we can put this thing together, because I think it's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be really funny.
Yeah, please do if you know of any moments that are your favorite, because there's been a lot over the years, and I think you guys being involved with creating the video with Lego will be really, really cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there will definitely just be a montage of us talking about eating Briar. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Briar barbecue.
I thought it was supposed to be fun and happy and funny. I thought it was supposed to celebrate
for them, Briar.
No one said this was going to be fun for you, Briar.
Well, I do have a request. I'd really like if the community could find this, the time that Pope Bear fell out of his chair.
Yeah.
And Tefty's eyes just bugged out. Because he just saw it happen.
I have one about fart jokes.
Okay.
So actually, I have that. So I'll send that to Lego.
Nice.
There we go.
I have the clip right here.
Watts, you're gonna do, what was the game? I can't remember. Into the Deep? Was that
Still Wakes the Deep?
Still Wakes the Deep.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Still Wakes.
Are you nervous, Watts?
I am definitely nervous. For context, for anyone who doesn't know, this is a scary game that is set in an oil rig in the middle of the ocean, and I have a deep phobia of in-game water.
Do you have a phobia of regular water? Like, do you?
No.
Can you go swimming in the ocean? No problem.
Well, I don't want to, but yeah. There's a lot of increase in shark attacks, but it's totally fine. It's just it just makes me so anxious. Yeah. And I'm expecting, because every game for a while there, what was it, the 90s to 2000s, was like, if you're in water, bad things are happening. And there's nothing that you can do. You can't protect yourself. No. There's no fighting. Like, it's just, they're going to jump scare you, or something terrible's going to happen.
You're going to move slowly. Your controls are going to definitely suck.
Yeah.
And we're going to pull all sorts of scary bullshit on you.
Yep. Have y'all played those amnesia games before?
No, can't do that.
I have not.
I tried playing.
Terrifying.
Can't do that.
What was the Xbox 360 game? It was like I can't remember. You had to break into a mansion, and there was somebody chasing you around. Ooh. Lego, I made it 20 minutes.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know that game. Dang, what is that? They made two of them, and it's like you have a
out of my chest.
Camcorder.
You had a camcorder. Yeah. My heart was beating out of my chest. I had to put it down. I couldn't do it. The scariest I could do is Resident Evil.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, that's why I love those first-person games. It makes you feel like you're there, and that's what Amnesia. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, those ones are first-person too. And there's this scene. The reason I bring it up is there's a scene of like a flooded hallway thing, and you start walking through it, and you realize there's like these boxes on the side of you as you're walking through this castle thing, and then all of a sudden you see the water start moving kind of near you, and you like jump up on a box and you can see this thing like swimming around, but you don't know what it is. You never see it, but you know you're gonna die if it touches you.
That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen. I know it. So I will be playing that game. I was thinking that I'm gonna do it maybe the week of the 5th, August 5th, but I'll let you guys know for sure next week what the plan is.
Oh, I'm not going to be here August 8th for this show. Just while I'm thinking of it.
Heads up.
Okay.
The listeners too. Watts, I'm going to try to play it before you do or like alongside you. That way we can talk about it on the show afterwards.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, because I love those games. I've been wanting to set aside time. That'll be my excuse to do it.
No, I just broke my.
Oh no! He got so excited.
Listeners, Briar ripped his microphone off.
No, I think it just came unscrewed. So pardon the noise that I might be making for a minute here.
Okay, there we go. We're good.
Okay, all right, we're good.
Everything's fine.
And then you're also going to stream with Fran. Well, you're going to be how is that going to work exactly? Are you going to be in a chat with Fran, like a voice chat with Fran?
Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is, so he's going to be playing Monster Hunter World, and I think I'm going to be in Discord, at least for the beginning. Like maybe at some point I join him in game to play with him, but I feel like I need to watch what he's doing in order to truly backseat him. Go, Fran,
so
what are you doing?
You want to like take notes. You want some receipts before you walk in.
I want to watch him. I want to watch him and be like, Fran, what are you doing? That's not how you do that. Yeah. Fran, you got to go over here. Fran, that's the wrong way. Yeah, that's what I want to do. That'll be way better.
I definitely want a pre-announcement of that stream because I'm going to be there with my popcorn.
It's going to be really, really fun.
I'm going to do a Street Fighter stream. I'll be doing that next Wednesday, actually. I decided I'll do it next Wednesday.
Wednesday.
So I'm going to rip the Band-Aid off of that one real quick because it's been like 4 years since I've streamed.
It's been a really long time. Yeah, it's been super long.
And Wednesdays are kind of my not busy day. So I'm going to fire up the stream, play some Street Fighter. I'll announce on Twitter like what time I'm going to do that and all that. But if you'd like to watch me get my butt whipped in Street Fighter 6, you can come hang out with me and do that, or we can just catch up and chat. I got to tell you guys about my weekend because it was ridiculous.
Hit me.
It was a complete come down off of the charity stream, right? So I was just like, all right, I'm exhausted. You know, like that's a little late for me. I'll be honest with you. I'm old. My bedtime is about 10 o'clock.
That's fair.
Staying up, like screaming at a microphone until midnight. And then, you know, it takes a little bit of time to like kind of get the adrenaline to come down. So really, I didn't go to bed till like 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. I woke up on Friday, watched golf all day. Just nothing but the British Open golf. Nothing but. Until Evo came on. And then I started watching Street Fighter 6 pools. And that's all I did all weekend. I went from golf in the morning because it was the British Open, so it's on in the morning for me. And then as soon as it ended, on to Evo. The only break I took was on Sunday. I quickly went golfing because after the British Open, I'm like, damn, I want to play a little golf. And then I came back home and watched the Evo finals I watched actually Tekken and Street Fighter 6. But the Street Fighter 6 finals were sick. Punk to God finally won his first Evo, which was sick. You know,
it was the first North American winner
in 20 years. In 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah, which is crazy. But man, it was a really fun weekend for me. It was like full on goblin mode though. You ever do that where you're just playing it on a couch for like an entire weekend?
Try for like 3 weeks straight, and every week, and you got it. Yep.
I do feel like that's been me like every night lately, just like work and stuff. I'm just like, I just want to lay down and watch a movie every single night. I just can't move. Can't bother me.
You just watched Wolverine and Deadpool.
Yes, I did. I literally just got back, and it was fantastic. I was so worried that, like, you know how critics are. They like every single sequel, the rating goes down a little bit more. It's like they get tired of like what it is, but no, it knows exactly what it is. I'm not going to spoil anything. Don't worry. I was worried that it was not going to, be as great as the other ones, but like it might be my favorite one. I loved it.
Oh.
It like knows exactly what it is and it just does the thing. And I'm like, yes, this is exactly what I came here for. Ryan Reynolds knows it, and I love him for it.
I'm so glad to hear that it's good.
Yeah.
You enjoyed it.
I like
I
both
really
of the
did.
first movies, both the Deadpool movies. I was a little worried though, like you, to be honest with you, like a movie series like can wear on you a little bit. Like the first one's always so good and so original and fresh. And then maybe you like mix it up a little bit for the second one to surprise people, but by the third one you're like, what are we really doing here? Like, are we wrapping things up? It can be tough to make a third movie.
I think what spices it up is now that Marvel has rights to it, especially if I was telling Briar this before the show, but if you know like what's going on with the copyrights of everything, like everything is 100 times funnier throughout the movie. And because they have access to all the Marvel stuff now, it just makes it just hilarious because they can make fun of Sony, Marvel, and Disney like in the same stroke, so
Yeah,
it's
that's
good.
true.
It's real good, yeah, and they don't hold back. I don't feel like either. Like it's pretty brutal. So,
I haven't played
recommend.
this yet, but I did see Skillup's review today of I think it's called Kunitsu-Gami.
I played it.
You played it?
I am playing it.
You're playing it now? This is a must buy for me. I've been watching this game and like reading reviews. I cannot wait to play this. So say it right for me, Watts.
Kunitsu-Gami.
Yeah, Path of the Goddess. I'm just gonna refer to it as Path of the Goddess.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's so much easier to say. So this is a cool mix up of like a character action game and like a tower defense game. I think you've described it that way before on the show. How are you liking it?
Yeah, so this is one of those games that I'm just like, thank you for making it, because outside of indie games, we don't really get a lot of risks taken, especially not by AAA studios, and this is made by Capcom. You just don't get a lot of that because, they've got to make money for their investors. They can't just put out a game and have it be like we expect this to not do well. But Capcom has been doing that. They like, yeah, we don't really expect this to be a mega hit like Monster Hunter or Resident Evil, but we have Monster Hunter and Resident Evil, so we can let our devs just kind of flex their creativity a little bit and make something fun. And that equals better games too. If your developers can just kind of have some freedom and mess around with some different stuff, it really helps. But
that's where like new IPs come from, right? Like,
yeah,
you never get a Halo 1 unless somebody's allowed to create Halo,
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is it's a game that's set very much so in like Japanese mythology and all of that stuff. So you've got like demons, and they give you all of the names and they tell you all of the information about all of them, which is really cool to know where they originate from. And what you're doing is there's a day-night cycle, and during the day you're trying to get this princess to cure the village. So the village is corrupted and it's got demons coming out of torii gates. So what you need to do is get the princess from one side of the arena to the other side, and then she can cleanse it all. But in order to do that, there's a couple things you want to do. So the daytime, you're saving villages from corruption, and you're giving them different jobs. So you can have them be like a melee character, an archer. There's also like healers and all sorts of different characters that you can make them. And then you're trying to place them in a strategic way to kill the enemies as they come out of the gate so they don't end up harming the princess that you're protecting. And then nighttime hits and all of the enemies come through the torii gates. And at that point, you are physically there fighting. It's not quite third person, but I don't know what to call the camera angle. I don't know. But it's like a third person action game at that point where you're fighting the enemies yourself. And then you can still move the villagers around, but you are definitely more limited on like what you can do. Like you can't fix things during the night. You can't do certain things during the nighttime. So you can move them around, but you generally want to get prepped in the day. So that's kind of how it goes, is in the daytime, you're running around quickly trying to free the villagers and gather all these resources so you can give them roles and figure out where you want to put them, and fixing different, because you've got like towers the archers can go on. You've got like traps that slow down the enemies. You've got a bunch of different things that you can build and fix. And then the nighttime hits and you're trying to defend. And it gets increasingly more difficult because there'll be an arena that you just have one gate that they come out of, and then you have another one where they're coming out of multiple gates, or where they're switching between the gates that they're coming out of. So it can get pretty hectic quite quickly.
The thing that makes those games unique to me is how you described, like, whenever they have this optional, like, you control, like, your own character throughout it as well. Like, that always puts a cool spin on it to me.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah, I definitely like that. And it's the combat that the main character has that you're playing as, his name's So, is based on like a dancing traditional combat from Japan. So it's all kind of like dance move combat.
Yeah,
It's
it looks
really
sick, too.
incredible.
Yeah.
And there's just so many cool features. Like you get these plaques that you can look at, which are the enemies, and you can look at the enemy, you can read about them, you can look at their 3D model, and the way that the enemies look are just incredible. It's just a beautiful looking game. And yeah, it's like a passion project from Capcom, and it's really, really, really good. It's on Game Pass. It's not a full price game, so if you're interested at all, give it a try. There's also a demo on all platforms.
Oh man, they might have just convinced me because they're not selling a physical copy of this game, so I might sign up for Game Pass for a month. Is it on PlayStation at all? Is it on PC?
It's on everything.
It's on everything. Okay.
Yep, it is on absolutely everything.
Is it on?
And there's
PC
a demo
Game
and
Pass?
everything. I would assume so. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Very, very cool. And awesome. Capcom's like, we're gonna make $7 quadrillion next year with Monster Hunter, so make whatever you want. It's fine. Okay.
Sometimes I get the feeling that that's what Bungie wants to do, you know, like because they talk about like their little side internal projects, and like we haven't really seen that really come to fruition yet. We've just heard a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it will be interesting to see if they become that kind of company, you know.
I hope so.
Looks like, yeah.
That would be because it really does help the developers make better games. That's why you would see that Bungie does like the game jams where it's just, hey, come up with a really creative game. Like here's a couple days to just do your thing. And it's so nice for people to not just they're not just the game designer of Sandbox in Destiny, and that's all you get to do. It's just work on Sandbox and Destiny. You get to do other things, and it really does help people's skills. Helps them get better at making games.
You guys both played Concord over the weekend.
That's what I was
right?
gonna go
We did.
for. Yep, and I had a blast. I had so much fun.
Too.
Yeah. The only bummer for me out of the whole thing, well, I guess two. One is that, you know, it is a full price game, or, you know, close to. And so I know that's putting a damper on it for a lot of people. And I'm afraid that is even what is preventing people from just trying it. Because it was like free to, you know, try it this last weekend. And I feel like a lot of people didn't just because they know that price tag is on it and it's just a PvP game. And that makes it tough for some to want to commit that time to learning something new when there's so many games around. But it genuinely was a great time. Like I had so much fun playing with Watts, playing on my own, just learning through all the characters, because there's a lot of characters.
There's 16, and then there's also there's variants of all of them. So you can like double that pretty much.
I feel like that was an important thing for me to point out, is I was worried that you know, I would like a character, but not like one of their abilities or something like that, but like one of the weapons or something like that. But really, if you like one of the characters, you just stick with them, or over time as you rank up your character, you don't even have to play that character. You just play, and you'll rank up and get alternate versions of the characters. And they have a cool team system where you can put those different alts on your team and then pick from those when you're playing the game, which is pretty cool. It's like another way of like the way you would customize your loadout in a different game, but instead you're like customizing your heroes that you're going to play. And man, it was just so much fun finding the ones that work best for you. And I feel like I didn't even get close to etching into what mastering one of these characters look like. But even just the little bit that I was able to learn, I was like, oh, you can do this, and you can just really get into it. And the actual gameplay is what really sold me on it, because it was just very fun to play.
Yeah, so I also enjoyed playing Concord. And I think what I would say is, if you're someone who has liked the older Call of Duties and you've liked Destiny PvP, I think you're going to have a good time with it, because a lot of people were saying it's like Overwatch, and definitely like it has similarities with Overwatch, but Overwatch is very, you kind of poke at each other and team comps are really important, and then you just pop an ultimate and you try and synergize when you pop your ultimates in order to push forward and make progress. But with this game, it's not so much like that. Like when we were playing just team deathmatch or supremacy, kill confirmed, any of that stuff, you don't need a healer, you don't need a tank, you can kind of just pick whatever you want. So it's much less reliant on that kind of stuff, which makes it feel more like a traditional arena shooter where you can go in there and do crazy stuff and see what happens. Time to kill is definitely not super fast.
Yeah.
But I personally like that.
But there are ways to get it fast too. Like a lot of the characters had weaken abilities, and once you weakened with one of those, you could slay out pretty fast. So you had to just line up your abilities right. And if you like playing that way, because I kind of do, like I kind of like being the player to go off to the side and try to get a different angle that no one's expecting. And they have characters for that, that either teleport or stealth when you dodge, or the Baz with the knives. Like if you crouch, you can see them on radar and you can kind of keep your distance and attack when you know they're not looking, stuff like that. So it just depends. And like you said, when I was playing, I didn't feel like I needed to play a certain character or play within a team in a certain way. I could kind of like play the way I wanted to. I am, and I'm curious to ask you, Watts, if you think that down the road, like as this game is released, a meta will form that's more like Overwatch, where it's like you got to have these things. Because I did maybe 1 or 2 games that I played, the teams started like, oh, let's play like a team and really grouping up. And I was like, okay, at this point, it's not as fun. Like, unless I was in a team. And I don't know that I really want to play the game that way. And so and that made me curious, like, is there going to be like a solo playlist? Is there going to be like a Rumble type thing?
I think
Because
they talked on that a little bit.
oh, they
I'll
did?
check while you keep going. But
That
yeah.
would be cool because I did experience a little bit of like, wow, this would be really not fun if a meta developed and it was like these certain characters do these roles and that's the way to play. And that's the reason I stay away from hero games, because I don't want to. I just want to be me, and that's why I like Destiny so much. That's why I tend to play the games that I do, is because I can just play my style that I want to play, or find a unique way to play that is more solo aligned. So I'm curious how it falls into. I will say, just for anyone out there that doesn't like Overwatch and stayed away from this game because of that, I don't like Overwatch and I loved Concord. So I just want to throw it out there that it is not like, I could
It's
see
not
why
the
you would think
same.
that with the hero roles and stuff, but to me it felt just different. It was just different. It felt like I was playing Destiny
It felt
a
like
little bit.
D1 to me a little
Yeah,
bit. Like
Wow.
not
yeah,
so
it
much
did.
D2 because we've gotten so fast in Destiny
Yes.
2. But
Yeah.
yeah, like a D1 kind of feeling. Absolutely. I could see that.
Is this
So
With
it's
time to
like playing
kill kind
Destiny
of
and
D1
Halo.
as well?
Like D1 that didn't rely on weapons, like as if your abilities were weapons, and you could just use those and not have to worry about guns, because depending on your character, that was but they had very classic, like the very first character on the list, I can't remember what the name was, but it was basically like commando type. I got an assault rifle, I got 3 grenades, like that was his thing. But then they have other characters that all they do is abilities. They have nothing but abilities. So it's kind of like you just pick and choose what kind of way you like playing. Yeah, I'm seeing it compared to Destiny and Halo in chat as well.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a pretty good comparison.
What'd you guys think about like the
Yeah.
characters and like the overall aesthetic of the game?
So okay.
You go first, Mats. You go first.
So there's certain characters that I immediately like the look of. Like I liked Itzy. I thought she was cute and kind of cool looking, just like almost a chameleon looking character. But then there's other characters that I wouldn't really want to play based on how they look, because and this is the problem with hero based or character based games, is because I want to play one that I really like the look of, I like their personality, and I like what they do. So if one of those things are missing, another part has to be really good for me to want to play, because there's a lot of really good champions in League of Legends that I just don't play because I don't want to play that champion.
Yeah.
So
That's
I think
fair.
there was some that I liked the look of and I wanted to try them out. Vale was another one. I think she looks really cool. I love her hair. Um, Trying to think who else there was. Oh, Roka. I like the Roka's kind of basic looking, which is like a cute little girl who has a rocket flies around, which I like the I like the look of that. So it's hard. It's hard to say. I don't think there's a ton that super speak to me, but there are some that I really like the look of, and I really like the way that they play.
Yeah.
So
that's one thing that I thought Overwatch really killed is their characters were just so vibrant and likable. Like so many of them, I thought.
Yeah, I don't feel like these ones, for me, like they don't feel as likable or even maybe even fleshed out might be a better word because it's like Linux, for example. I think that's the way you say his name. Like, I don't really like the way he looks. I like the way he plays, but
yeah.
whenever I saw the intro story thing of him and like the respect he was paying to like all the pilots that went before him to map out the system, I was like, I'm interested in this character now. Like, I actually am curious about what he's like. And he had like a relationship with the captain, the ship, which also was a really weird concept. Like, the captain like is the ship, which was kind of cool. But yeah, it just had a lot of world building to do, and I feel like you don't get it right away. And it's like they kind of want you to invest, but it's hard when there's no one, or there's not no one, but there's like not as many people as you thought would be playing the game, and like they kind of have to and like watch some of the story. It seems like to really get what these characters are like. It's not something that's conveyed immediately by just the way they look. I feel like there's more depth to them that we'll learn about if you get the game and play it. Which is that's a difficult commit when the game costs money. And so if it ends up on Game Pass or PS Plus or something, I feel like the game could blow up if people realize like, oh, these characters have depth and they're really interesting and good, which I'm saying that guessing. I haven't, it's not like I've played it. I just seen the intro thing and played the demo, but I would assume given what we've seen that there's gonna be a lot of depth to these characters.
Has there been any announcement about being on PS Plus or
no, they
so
haven't
that I'm
talked
aware of.
about anything like that.
I feel like
yet.
that could really boost this game because it was concerning how few people were playing it during the beta.
Definitely.
Like, and when you're staring down a multiplayer only game purchase for, is it going to be a full price game? Is it going to be $70?
It's $40.
$40. Yeah. But even at $40, when you're staring at a purchase that's multiplayer only, and like you're not sure if the player base is going to be able to like keep it alive for a while, like it feels like a risky investment, you know?
Yeah, I'm pretty leaning heavy into purchasing it. I think it's a really cool game. Just to like see where they go with all the characters and everything. And I should say too, there's a few that I didn't talk about that I really like. Star Child, which is the big like Drax type character.
Yeah.
Like very melee in your face. You kind of have this invincible charge thing you can do to get yourself in a position. That was very fun to play as a solo player. And also the sniper Veil. She was much more passive than you're used to playing. Maybe if you're like a Destiny sniper, but like she comes with trip mines and this super jump thing you can do, like all these ways to get out of situations if you find yourself stuck, or to create a situation where you like, oh, somebody's sniping over there, and you kind of like lure them in, sort of deal. Which I thought all that was really cool. I feel like, and that's what we kind of keep going back and forth on, is there's all these different characters that have these different abilities that may lean into some style that you like playing one way or the other. And then there's some that were like so weird that I don't even know what's happening, like LARP. Like I'm like, I know that he shoots this grenade launcher thing that does a ton of damage, but I feel like you can't aim it at all. And you lay these spores on the ground that over time could like take over the map basically, if the other team's not shooting them down. And then you can lay a teleporter thing down on like the other side of the map to like, if you get in trouble, just like go back to the respawn basically. Like it's a weird character to play because the gun isn't an instant gun. You kind of have to plan it out. So the whole character setup is just weird.
It's definitely weird. Yeah, their weapon did a ton of damage, but like you said, it wasn't like you're actually shooting things. It kind of sends out spiky stuff towards the enemy, and then it does damage as it hits them. So it was definitely a bit strange.
That reminds me. I wanted to ask you, Watts, did you ever play a game where a character was really good with Duchess, the grandma who like can put up the walls and stuff?
Yeah, she's really good.
She's crazy good in a team setting. There was one team I played where she was putting up walls where the heals were, so the other team couldn't get to the heals.
Couldn't get to them quickly.
Yes, I was like,
smart.
"Oh, that's so good."
That is
With
smart.
stuff like that is going to be basic, I'm sure, as the game progresses. But during the demo, when no one knows what's going on, I was like, "Wait, I can't heal. There's walls everywhere. What can I do?"
Yeah,
Is the demo over?
Yeah.
Okay. And when's the game come out? It's like next month, right? August?
August.
It's soon, yeah.
It's really soon. It's really unfortunate that people didn't try it, but yeah, the Steam numbers were definitely not. They weren't great. The max was like what 2,000 something.
Yeah,
People
it was
playing, which is really really low.
Wow. Yeah.
And I wish it was a free beta. And I wish people would give it a chance because I feel like if you are someone who has liked older FPS games, I think you'd probably dig it. And it's been really interesting seeing what they've been saying on Twitter because we got to hear about a little bit of their post-launch content. So they're saying there's not going to be any battle pass. Everything that you earn is in the game. So you're not going to be buying a battle pass on top of the $40 and then earning stuff from the battle pass. Yeah, you pay $40, you have all of the characters forever, you have all of the maps forever when they launch different maps, and you have all of the cosmetics that you can unlock. And there's a bunch of cosmetics for each character. There's different spots that you can put stuff on them. So that was really nice to hear because I mean a lot of games that come out that are $40 still have a battle pass. And they still have like some kind of microtransaction. And I don't know what their microtransactions are going to be, in the long term, but they have come out and said they're not going to have a battle pass.
And costumes and stuff, probably skins.
Maybe, but there's a lot of that you can earn in the game.
That's good.
Which they mentioned here. And there's going to be 12 maps that it's coming with, 16 characters, 6 different game modes. That's what it's going to be launching with. And they also are going to be bringing like a training room, so you can take the characters into a training room and figure them out, which is going to be really good. And there is going to be, of course, post-launch content and cinematics every week. New cinematic.
That's interesting.
That's the part that I feel like would really flesh out all these characters. I feel like it's kind of needed, which I don't know why. I don't know. That'd be an interesting thing to study is like why do these characters not feel like immediately connected to versus like Overwatch? I see like one trailer and I kind of like get most of the characters. I feel like maybe I don't know. I don't play much Overwatch, but it feels like I do a little bit more from Apex and that than this. But I do like a lot of the characters, so I'm not like nitpicking at it or anything. That's just the vibe that I get, and I'm wondering if having a few more visual cutscenes will help.
It might, yeah. I mean, something that I think also helps, and I hope they keep doing it, is they put out an animated video today. So it's not like their in-game cutscenes, which are just like really, really well done CG cutscenes. This was like actual drawing animated.
Okay, cool.
Cutscene, and it's got Itzy in there. It's got can't remember that. Oh, Jabali and Teo in it. So that was really cool, and that seems to be being received quite well. Like people were like, "This was really cool. This was nice. I liked this." Good. So, yeah, I don't know how you get people to play. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But just give it a try.
Yeah,
I think you'd be surprised.
I hope the game like lands and like it gets such good word of mouth that people just kind of get drawn to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Their pricing model might just need to get swapped up. It's a tough one.
We'll see.
It's a tough one. And to me, the reason I asked you about the characters is because when they first showed this game, that was my first impression. Is like, oh, I have no interest in this game. Oh, wait, it's a PvP game by like ex-Bungie guys? Now I'm interested. But like,
exactly.
It had that long story trailer that was kind of like, not for me probably, but so I don't know. I'm probably going to pick this up just because I'm so curious about it. I was flat out this weekend. Like I said before, I could not play any video games. There's just no way.
I understand.
I get it. Especially after those goddamn death nuts.
Oh man. Gosh.
Dude, I shared the cheese balls with my family. Like, hey, does anybody want to try one of these? I'm warning you, they're really bad. I only had one taker, and he'd take one of them. He's like, oh God. It was awful. Awful.
It's not good.
Yeah, next year I'm going Fran's route. I'm getting like the sour patch kids or something. Like, Sour Patch Kids.
those Japanese extreme lemon things were great.
Yeah.
I'm like still eating them afterwards.
Great,
That was fantastic.
Everything else I threw away. Well, I'm holding on to the double salt 2 times salted licorice.
Yeah.
Because I like black licorice, but I don't think I like the salt part.
Yeah, I was worried about that.
I'm going golfing with some friends this weekend, so I'm bringing the Death Nuts with me.
Good luck to your friends.
Do a little snack, a little pick me up mid round.
That's how you get rid of the competition right there.
That's right.
That's how you
eliminate them through Death Nuts.
But I'm sure Concord will have like some free weekends or whatever. So if you're unsure and you want to check it out, please just check it out for free. Because I mean, this is a game that we always say we're so tired of microtransactions and battle passes and $70 skins. And this game is like, you pay $40, you get all the characters, you get all the maps, you get all the game modes, you get cinematics, you get all of the cosmetics that you can unlock through just playing the game.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's kind of giving us a lot of what we say we want. I understand if you just don't like the game, of course you play it and you're like, it's not really for me. But I think it's worth giving it a try. Like, it feels really good. You've got people on that team who know how to make a good feeling FPS game.
Yeah. Did you guys play it on PC or
I was on PC.
PlayStation. It felt great on PlayStation. So it felt just as good on PC, you feel like?
Yeah, it felt great.
That's awesome. Yeah, so recommend for both console and PC then.
And it performed really well, like in terms of on my computer. Like there was no issues. The animations were really impressive. The facial animations of the characters, the combat animations. Like it's a very well made game.
Zero lag too. Like
Zero lag,
I didn't experience a single ounce of lag, which was
I didn't experience any lag.
Yeah.
Which, considering that there wasn't a huge player base, that's actually even more impressive.
It is.
What are you guys
I was
doing with
thinking
your
about
servers?
that. Yeah, how did that happen?
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow. Yeah,
that's great. I mean, new games netcode is so good. You know, like it's amazing, right?
It's amazing what they can do.
Yeah. I play a ton of Street Fighter 6. I don't play a ton of Street Fighter 6. I play Street Fighter 6 for 2 hours almost every week.
I can't wait to see your skills on the stream, Brian.
But it's amazing to me that you can play fighting games like so well online. You know, like it feels like the person's right next to you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that stream too. It's been a long time since I booted up a stream. It'll be fun.
It's gonna be fun.
Doing that.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Nice. Wednesday.
Anything else we want to talk about before we get into Destiny?
Yes, so many things.
Okay.
No Rest for the Wicked had a huge update today, like an absolutely insane update. So they said that it was going to be big, and I was like, okay, cool. And then I saw that they released a over 3-minute trailer for their update, and I was like,
oh wow,
that's probably quite large. And I was watching it, and essentially they've put a roguelite video game in the video game. So you have like the Souls-like ARPG stuff going on, making builds, getting loot. And now you just have a roguelite portion of the game. So the way that this works, you could play a little bit of this before, but they've completely overhauled it. They've added double the amount of arenas that you fight in. They've added a whole new enemy race. They've added freezing and shattering enemies. And then this roguelite thing that they have going on is you go through different stages, as you would with roguelites, and then you get a currency that allows you to unlock different upgrades that are randomly given to you. And when you get to all the way through, you get to fight a boss. I haven't defeated the boss yet because I'm bad, I guess. I don't know. I don't do any damage. But there's like 200 plus options of the random things for you to pick. So it's not like this is a side thing that they've added to the game. This could be its own game. It's crazy. They've also added new areas to existing areas. So there'll be like a new ladder somewhere that goes to an entirely different area. There'll be like a hatch that you can open that goes to a different area. They've done a ton of bug fixes and performance updates. It's also Steam Deck verified now.
Oh,
officially.
No, that's terrible news. A C-Town in chat is saying you found a whole new boss. Like there's
There's a lot in this update. It's crazy. It's currently 20% off too, so it's like $31.
I'm watching the trailer while you're talking about this, and there's it looks like there's a bunch of new weapons in here, and maybe some new abilities. Is that right?
I don't know.
Like it doesn't.
I don't know if there's new
some
abilities.
of what he's doing doesn't like look familiar to me. I haven't played it since launch, like the launch of the early access. But man, I was loving it during early access. Are they going to continue to build out like the main world? Oh yeah, it just said extended areas.
Yeah, they're going to be adding new chapters. They'll be adding new chapters to the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, they're kind of crazy. Like when the game first went into early access, they were putting out an update damn near every day.
Yeah.
And then they chilled on that a little bit, had a pretty big update with changing the way bows work and respecking and a bunch of other stuff. And then this update is adding hours and hours and hours and hours of content to the game.
Yeah, I'm psyched about this. I really like this game. I like the way it plays. I like the way it looks. I like the world that it's building. I don't think I really have any major complaints about this game. The one complaint I had about it, like on launch, was the economy sucked, and they fixed that like day 2.
yeah, they fixed it really quickly.
Yeah,
I'm just gets me very excited to see what this game is going to be like when 1.0 drops, because we already have chapter 1, a bunch of bosses, hundreds of armor and weapons, and this roguelite mode. Like, what is this game going to be like when it comes out? It's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
So they are also going to be launching their updated roadmap soon. So we'll see what their plans are and how they're going with like multiplayer and different chapters and stuff. But
oh my God, multiplayer in this game would be fun.
We're talking about No Rest for the Wicked. They just had their a massive update, an insane update. They got a new NPC who does a bunch of stuff for you in the Crucible, which is the roguelite thing.
If you don't know what this game is, like it's been a while since we talked about it.
It has been a while, actually. Yeah.
It's like a top-down, almost isometric. It kind of plays like a Soulsborne, but it's more of like, I don't know. It's kind of mixed with like a Diablo in a way, where it's a lot about like collecting stuff. It's a really unique game that looks stunning. It plays really well. It's definitely worth checking out.
And this is the guys who made this are the people behind Ori. Ori and Will of the Wisp, Ori and the Blind Forest. So you know how beautiful that game is. And this game is beautiful. It's one of those games where, so you get to have your own house and decorate it and stuff. And I'm like, I just like being in this town. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually with towns, I'm like, just get me in and out of here as fast as I can. Like in Monster Hunter, I'm just like, I want to get in and out of here. Like I have like the vendors I need memorized exactly where they go. And I like optimize my route through town when I got to go through. But this one is, I still kind of do that, but it's just so pretty. And it changes. The town changes while you play. Like, because you can do quests for the vendors. And like it unlocks shortcuts and new areas. And it's very cool.
And they kind of have something similar going on with that with their new vendor for the Crucible. Because you kind of upgrade them in a way like Sacrament, which is the name of the village. Because you're getting this currency and then you're upgrading what they can offer you. So it's kind of a similar thing. Like you have another thing to work towards upgrading and leveling up. So it's really cool. It's really, really, really cool.
Yeah. They must have done some performance improvements if it's playable on Steam Deck now.
Yeah, they've been doing I looked at the patch notes. I scrolled for, I don't know how many pages that would be, but it's a lot. There's so many patch notes. And some of that is, performance fixes and.
Yeah, it was a heavy game when it first launched, but if they can get it running on Steam Deck, they got to be making some updates to it. And it is planned for console at some point too. I know that.
It is, yeah. So they're doing early access now, and the reason that they're doing early access on PC and not consoles is because it does allow them to push however many updates they want. They could do 20 updates in a day if they want to. But with consoles, you have to go through certification, so you can't really do that. So the console version will always be super far behind the PC one. So it kind of just makes sense to just have it on PC. But they do plan on having it on both consoles when 1.0 launches, maybe sooner, but definitely for 1.0. Obviously, Ori was an Xbox game, but they are no longer held down by Microsoft.
They are free.
They're free.
I went to their Twitter to find their trailer. And 3 posts down is a big picture of you holding up a Steam Deck.
It's me.
That's awesome.
It's me. Yeah. I had a sponsored stream today for No Rest for the Wicked. And it's always an incredible thing when a game that you really love is like, we know you're going to play this, but we're going to pay you to play it. It makes you feel appreciated.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
What else you got?
Check it out. I've been playing Once Human.
Oh.
Lots of Once Human. Mylan is addicted. I've been playing with Mylan. It's officially out. It's only on PC at the moment. They've said that Sony and Microsoft are interested in the game, but they really want to make sure the game is good on PC first.
Mm-hmm.
But this is I'm going to throw a lot of words at you, but I don't think I can condense it because it's an open world MMO looter shooter survival crafting game.
Mm-hmm. Anything else you want to throw in there?
I think that covers most of it. So you can make your own house, and you can have all the stuff that you normally have in there for crafting bullets and armor and weapons and food and all that stuff. Oh, there's a little bit of Pow World in there because you get these things called deviants that you can have work in your house to plant seeds or cook better food or increase your electricity. So a little bit of power. But you can do that. There's that part of it. So you can be like, I just want to make my house and decorate it. That's all I'm going to do today. And you can spend probably 10 hours a day doing that and have plenty to do. But then you also have, I'm going to go and run a bunch of dungeons and try and get a bunch of loot to make a build. There's kind of like
Was a dungeon the thing that you were doing before coming to play Concord with Mylan the other night? Because I feel like
so.
It looked really cool. Like y'all were taking on some big boss and like y'all ran out of some certain kind of ammo and couldn't take them down. And it was like you could actually fail the encounter.
Yeah.
But all I remember is at the end, Mylan trying to ram it off a cliff like Atheon, which was
okay.
pretty
So
great.
this is so it's called Prime War. And essentially what this is, it's 40 players versus a boss.
Whoa.
And they have a huge shield and a huge health bar. So we very early on when that launched, we were like, okay, let's get together and try and do it. And then Mylan used all of his rockets to get rid of that shield. So we're like, we have nothing to get rid of the shield. So everyone, like 40 players, just got their cars and tried to ram him off the edge to kill him. So there's those moments in this game that are really cool where you just got 40 people all in their Jeeps and bikes and cars trying to ram a boss off the edge.
Did it
We
work?
had another moment. No, it didn't.
It looked funny though.
It was really funny. It was really funny. And then we had another moment where there's kind of like an open world thing that you can do where you start an event and it gets swarmed with enemies. And we were all doing that. We probably had 20 people doing that. And it announces it in the chat that it's happening so people can see it and go, oh, I want to go and do that. But then there was a public event happening nearby, and Mylan was like, let's go to everyone, he says in his voice in the game, everyone, let's go do the public event. Seeing it on my screen's pissing me off. So you just see 20 people get in their cars and their bikes, and they just beeline into a tunnel. There's one dude during the public event. He's probably like, what the hell is going on? What is happening?
That's awesome.
It's a really cool game. I've got like 80 hours in it. I'm nowhere near done. I think the shooting feels good. I like the vibe a lot. The vibe is very, if anyone's played Scarlet Nexus, it's very like that. If not, Control is probably the closest thing. But it's just like creepy sci-fi monsters that you get to fight against and you get to use in combat as well. It's just really good. It's also free.
And you can ride motorcycles.
You can ride motorcycles.
I like riding.
And the way that they're launching content is they have phases. So each week is a different phase. So it's like, here's the first phase where there's not a whole lot going on, get in the game, do stuff. We're currently on phase 3. And this phase is all about getting your builds and your mods, your weapons, your armor ready for essentially a raid, which is going to be the next 2 phases. Is going to be like super difficult content. So I can't wait. It's really fun.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Being free is a big selling point there.
Yeah.
insane. It's like control. Yeah. Another big
there's an enemy that has like a briefcase head, and you kill him and you can pick up his briefcase and spit things at people. You can like grab flaming barrels and throw it at people. So there's a lot of like the telekinetic stuff.
Been a minute since I spit at anybody, you know?
It's been a minute. It's really cool. It's really cool. I like it a lot.
Haven't had one of those moments yet recently, Briar.
Not recently.
And Mylan's also addicted. And let me tell you, Mylan hates everything. So do with that information what you will.
Sweet.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah, give it a try.
I'll probably try this. Yeah, download this.
Yeah, I need to try it too. We should have a DCP night on it, honestly.
DCP night would be amazing. I'd love that. Is that all I've been playing? I think so. Kunitsu-Gami, Concord, Once Human, No Rest for the Wicked. I think that's everything.
Sweet.
I don't think we've podcast since this isn't a game thing, but I don't think we podcast since the Acolyte ended, Star Wars, and I just want to say it was pretty great. I thought. I know very split opinions on like what is happening, but if you just like Jedi action, it's worth watching just for that. Now that all the episodes are out and you can just skip to fight scenes, like even if you don't like the story, it's fantastic. Like they do a lot of wire fu type lightsaber combat stuff.
Interesting.
That is just like so well done. So well done.
When's this one take place in like the Star Wars universe?
I think 100 years before the prequels. It might be 200, but I think it's 100 years before. Okay. Yeah, because it's like way before any character. Well, I don't know if I could say any, but most characters, you know. And so, yeah, and they just introduced one of the best villains like of all time. Like, I think he's probably... Yeah, one of the best villains of all time, honestly, of Star Wars, I think.
Wow.
Even if you don't like the rest of it, it's like, oh, that character and the action both together are just like fantastic. So I'm really hoping it gets renewed for season 2 just for that, like alone. Like I loved having that addition to Star Wars.
I cannot catch like a feel for how good a Star Wars thing is off the internet anymore.
No,
because there's
impossible.
Dude, it's impossible.
Much hate for Star Wars on the internet.
It's impossible. It really is.
Like, look, I didn't like the prequels either, but I don't like spend all day hating on them. You know?
Yeah.
Like, what the
and there's like, I don't want to cut like people down who don't like the show either, because there are genuine things that you know you could be upset about with it. But that said, there's a lot of really cool stuff in it.
Like, I watched the Ahsoka show. And like, I'll be honest with you, the first episode, I was like, I don't know if this is going to be for me, but I gave it another shot. And like, I watched another episode or two and I got way into that show. I thought that show was really cool. And what they did with some of the like storylines in that show at the end, I was like, I can't wait for season 2. Like, I'm really excited for it. The Mandalorian, I feel like is a pretty uneven show, especially the first season. Like, it was like some episodes were like, oh, this is the best thing ever. Some of them were like, this is a myth.
You know what's even more uneven than that is but is still worth watching is the Boba Fett series, because episode 3 is like a Mandalorian episode, and it's not only like a Mandalorian episode, it's like one of the best Mandalorian episodes out there.
Weird how they got like stuck that in there.
Exactly, yeah, but it's great. I was like, oh wow, this is nerdiness on like another level, and it's so good.
Yeah, and then what's the one with the dude? What's the best one called?
Oh, Andor.
That's
ridiculously good. Yeah,
that's like one of my favorite pieces of media. I think. Like, never mind.
And it's getting a season 2.
I can't wait for that.
Yep.
Can't wait for Andor season 2. I wonder how many seasons they'll do of that.
I'm curious. Yeah, I mean, if it keeps going over well, hopefully a while, because it's very entertaining. Yeah.
How long has it been since season 1? It's got to be a couple years now.
It's a while. It feels like.
Yeah, I'm not sure actually.
But I don't care. I'll just watch season 1 again to get ready for season 2. I have to do that a lot now. Now that there's like a couple of years in between seasons of shows, I'm like, I have completely forgotten what happened here. I need to watch.
Everything takes longer to make.
Yeah. That's exactly why I ended up watching every single like Star Wars movie in the Skywalker, you know, and I can't say trilogy anymore. It's like 9 movies long, but I went through and watched all of them because of the Acolyte. Like, it got me like excited. Like, oh, I wonder how this like all ties in, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the way it goes.
All right. I'm glad you told me it's over, because now I can't. I've been waiting for it to be over to watch it.
Yeah.
You know, because
It'll be much more satisfying watching it that way, because there's like an episode or two that's like 30 minutes long and you're like, this didn't really change anything, you know. But if you can watch it through and get to like those really good episodes, you're like, okay, that was great, you know, if you watch it like that.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, we're an hour in. Should we talk about some Destiny?
It might be some Destiny time. There was a huge TWAB.
Yeah.
Massive.
Oh
man.
My
gosh.
Big Destiny energy today.
With some interesting changes. I think most of them are like, okay, cool, you know. I thought when I first read this, I was like, are we going to be seeing some special ammo changes? And I guess we will. That was the big one, because there's a big section of it in the middle, and there is a thing on that. But a lot of this TWAB is PvP stuff. There's a few great PvE changes as well, but they kick it off with a ton of
It's a
PvP
lot of
stuff.
PvP, yeah. It's huge.
Yeah. I think what we could do here is just like go over, they list out changes coming in the August update and just list out those, and then anyone that sounds like, ooh, this is really interesting, we could read the details on it, because there are some
That sounds good.
interesting. Yeah.
That's
So the Crucible changes coming. This is in August, in the August update. It says the first one is 6v6 map weighting. So they're increasing the weighting of popular maps and decreasing the weight of unpopular maps. And if you scroll down, you can see the increased weight is for Javelin 4, Burnout, Endless Veil, Cirrus Plaza, Dissonance, and Eventide Ruins are all going to get increased.
I like that. I always like when they do that.
And then decreased Disjunction, Cathedral of Dust, Convergence, Twilight Gap, and Exodus Blue, which I actually like Exodus Blue, but very glad to see Disjunction and Cathedral of Dust not come up anymore. But what it's cool about this is they have another spot here where they talk about some balancing stuff with the maps. I'm not sure where it is. I'm out of order here, but one of the things they're doing is they're adjusting the spawns in the maps, and on those larger maps like Disjunction and Cathedral of Dust, they've adjusted all the spawns and ammo problems to where now people spawn like closer in instead of way on the outside of the map.
That's good.
Which should make the game feel a lot faster. And I'm really looking forward to playing that, actually, because I remember when they talked about it, I was like, that sounds really cool. Yeah, here it is, spawning zone. So this included removing all backfield spawns from the Citadel, Cathedral Dust, Disjunction, Convergence for non-rift modes. So it allows the maps to play 30 to 50% smaller than before. So that's going to be a lot faster gameplay.
Yeah, that's going to be way faster.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. That sounds good. I like those changes.
Yeah, very good. The thing that was controversial, I think, in the community more than anything, other than the special ammo stuff, that
I was gonna say, is it the special ammo?
Yeah, always controversial. But the improved lobby balancing system. So they're moving to their second variant of Snake Draft with improved systems for dealing with fire teams. Now, as always with all this, it's super complicated, and they put a bunch of graphs in here
there
showcasing
are a lot of graphs.
You know, hey, here's how it works. Here's how it was.
Guys,
before.
go check out the TWID if you want to see the graphs, because they're pretty extensive.
But they talk about fire team based matchmaking in here. It's all under the Iron Banner section. Yeah. And so that if you want like details on it there, they just talk about different things with it. But they've talked about the Snake Draft stuff before. And they've talked about like the ways that all the different ways they've done it. And they basically feel like it's like their new version of it is quite promising, but as always, they just need to like put it out there and see how it goes. I think a lot of people are just frustrated with the how minor the changes feel over time, that you don't really feel the big impact of it at this point, because it's just tweaks, and you've got a large group of people that just wants it just free for all, and you got a large group of people that wants it more skill-based balance. And how are they ever going to hit the middle of that? Man, I have no idea.
They just can't. It's just such a tricky thing with Destiny, is that there's so many different people that play this game for so many different reasons. And not just that, but there's people who play the same part of the game very differently. Like PvE, you've got people do patrols. People are hanging out in patrol doing a bunch of stuff. You got hardcore raiders, and even within hardcore raiders, you have low man raiders. You've got just There's so much. So I do not envy Bungie for creating a game for everybody.
Yeah. And I will
Crucible's
say,
been rough.
I had somebody tweet at me this week because I said something about, I don't know, Crucible, a fusion rifle in Crucible or something. And somebody's like, "Are you actually enjoying PvP now?" Like, and my genuine answer, like, I don't get it to play as much as I used to. I've been working a new job, I just have a lot going on with family stuff, but I have been playing, and when I do, I'm actually having a really good time. And I said in the tweet, I was like, I don't know if it's because I tanked my SBMM due to Iron Banner. I was just playing like like a wild person, like not really caring about anything. That could be it. But I think I just don't get to play that much. And when I get on, I'm not playing it all the time. So it doesn't feel like, super oppressive. Like I haven't felt
Right.
like the meta is super oppressive in my face all the time. And I don't know if that's because I'm more out of it than I used to be, but it feels
Maybe.
like pretty fresh whenever I get in there. I'm constantly changing my loadout. Maybe that's why it feels fresh to me, is I hardly ever am playing
Yeah.
the same thing. So
That
I don't know.
definitely helps because when I'm like switching up my guns, and if I'm using something and I know is not gonna do super well,
Yeah.
but I really like the kind of mini game you're playing with it, I tend to have a better time and I get less frustrated because I'm not just like I'm playing Crucible with my best gun and my best loadout and I need to do really good and that's the only way I'm gonna have fun. It's like if I pull off that interesting gameplay loop of that mini game, then I'm like, oh yeah, I did it. And that can quell your frustrations quite a bit.
Yeah, yeah. And I know I don't represent every player. Like I know there are a lot of people that are still frustrated by tons and tons of stuff. But I genuinely feel like even even in the comments right now in chat, I play Destiny because I hate it. Like my favorite game, Destiny, I hate it so much. I get that that's like a common joke, but I genuinely am enjoying myself right now. But I am only playing the stuff I want to play still. Like I am
Yeah.
not max light level yet because I just don't go after the pinnacle stuff. I'm just playing the game, the game types I want to play, and that's kind of it. But yeah, it's been fun. I do want to skip to Iron Banner real quick,
Yeah, let's do it.
just because it ties into the matchmaking stuff, and
Right.
they talk about specifically. There was one part, yeah. There's a graph at the very bottom of the Iron Banner part where it talks about how what the population looks like, percentage of active accounts are playing Iron Banner,
That's
and it's
very
actually
interesting.
like, yeah, it was super interesting because it's like actually pretty high recently. Like with the changes they've made with their fire team matchmaking, they can see over the last
Mm,
4 years that it's the peaks have been higher and the troughs have been higher too. And
interesting.
that's very interesting considering what you hear online about Iron Banner, and like less and less people are playing is like what everyone's saying, but that's not
Yeah.
what the numbers are showing. And I don't know how I feel about that, but it was interesting to look at for sure.
It's definitely interesting when they do that stuff. I know people are now like, "Oh God, Bungie, another graph! Jesus Christ, please stop with all the graphs." But it's definitely nice to have that information if you want to look at it, especially population stuff. Because as you said, there's always talks of like population in Crucible right now is really, really, really low, and it
Yeah.
doesn't seem like it is.
Yeah.
Not in Iron Banner, at least.
Yeah, I do like this last sentence. Like right before they end that section, they say, "We'd like to investigate offering a more relaxed variant of Iron Banner with minimal matchmaking, stratification, and a focus on the less serious game modes," which I appreciate. I
I
I would
appreciate that.
I would like a more relaxed variant of Iron Banner, and I would like rewarding the fire teams better too, which they say that here. We would want to be able to reward fire teams better in general, like we've begun to do in trials. And that is one of my main gripes of Iron Banner at this point. Isn't like I expect the matchmaking to be whatever it is,
Yeah.
but the reward system, I feel like I don't need to go over it again. We talked about it with Fran a few weeks ago, but
Yeah, the
that's the one thing I'd
rewards.
like to see change. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I want to get Iron Banner stuff when I'm playing Iron Banner, and I want it to rain Iron Banner loot because I want it to feel like a celebration or like
Hmm.
a happy event, not like
Yeah.
I'm
Yes.
just gonna
Yeah.
grind. I need to grind 80 hours to get the roll that I want on this weapon because it never drops, and I'm just having to get engrams to try and get it. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, how great would it be if it just rained good loot during Iron
if
Banner?
it
That would be
rained Iron Banner loot, it would be great because you don't have access to Iron Banner all the time. So
exactly.
if
Yeah.
you're playing it in that short period of time, I feel like it probably should give you a
Yep.
lot of loot.
The loot should drop on the battlefield, and like you gotta
and we
get
fight
it while
over
you're
it.
playing. Yeah.
I want that mode. I want
there's a fusion rifle over there.
And we
Fire,
fight over it. That's what I want.
Let's do it. It's the closest I can get to a dark zone in Destiny, fighting over loot that drops. Yes.
That would be fun.
Oh,
maybe
man.
that's what Marathon's gonna be, you know? Maybe.
Listen, they also need a system where like so they had this back in the day, very old, and maybe they do in current versions of it, but in like it was like Need for Speed 3 or something like that, where you would do a race against someone and you would bet your car on the race.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, that was awesome feeling. It's so stressful. I want that in Destiny. Here is my randomly rolled farewell sidearm with 3,000 kills on it. I bet this game on this gun, like that would be so much fun. 1v1, you know, or something. Oh, yeah.
That would be crazy.
Okay, I'm dreaming.
That'd be really fun.
Next thing is update quitter systems. So I'm not going to go into detail, but they are getting a little more strict for players who disconnect all the time. But for players who rarely get kicked or disconnected, they'll be more lenient.
This is great.
Yes.
Like, this is great because it does feel bad if you know you're having power issues, or maybe you're just playing some Crucible while you wait for friends to get on and you want to leave when they're ready. If it's just casual Crucible, if it's like comp and stuff, you probably shouldn't be in comp doing that.
Yeah.
But if you're quitting all the time constantly, then your punishment probably should be different to someone who's only doing it here and there. And what did they mentioned a stat in there, something about 35%. There's a 35%, or there's a section of players that quit 35% of their games or something like that.
Oh my gosh, I didn't see that.
35% is huge. It's a huge amount.
Leaving more than 30% of their games? What?
So many games that you're
How do you, I guess, I know some streamers, like some friends of mine who do this if it's a certain type of game, or if it's like they're playing a 6-stack, they'll just leave.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I do know people that do that. But yeah, it does make the game much less enjoyable when your team is quitting and you already have the odds stacked against you for whatever reason. It's like, oh man, this is gonna be something.
Yeah, I don't know if it ever happens in Destiny 2 anymore. In Destiny 1, every once in a while, what would happen is my entire team would quit, so I'd be the only person on a team.
Oh yeah,
I don't even think it was a 6-stack; it was just 6 other people, and then it became just like, I don't know. I enjoyed it a little bit because I was like, how many kills can I get before they get me? You know, like, but the game is gonna last. The timer is definitely gonna run out because, like, I can only respawn and die so fast. You know?
Yeah,
that's what I do. I love doing that in comp. Whenever I have a comp game, and I don't know why people are quitting comp. What are you doing? That's just like, you can come if you go down one round. Like, why are you quitting? There's always a chance to come back. Even if you're down 3 rounds, you can still come back. I've had those games plenty of times. So please do not quit comp. But it happens frequently to where one guy leaves and then the other player leaves, and then it's just me against the other team. And I kind of like that. I'm like, it sucks for my comp score, but I'm definitely gonna do my best to take out these guys in a round. I think that's really fun.
Yeah, I enjoy doing it.
Sandbox balance. PvP nerfs to Threaded Spectre and Swarm Grenades. Thank you. Swarm Grenades is 20% less tracking, or track you for 20% less long, something like that. But the Threaded Spectre one's really interesting. It's 50% less aim assist for players looking at it, and
that's huge.
Yeah, so like you can actually track the player more, not the Threaded Spectre. And on top of that, there's a delay in the activation of the aim assist pull for the Threaded Spectre. So like if I'm fusion rifling someone and right when it fires they Threaded Spectre, I won't get pulled to that Threaded Spectre anymore. I will hit the player, which that's good. My gosh, yeah,
because that is another way that people use that, is they pop it to just get your aim assist off of them. So that will help with that for sure. You have a small window to finish them off before the aim assist goes away.
Very glad. The Trials of Osiris changes are really interesting. So they're changing Passage of Persistence. So we already had Passage of Persistence, which you can play, and you basically, it doesn't matter how many times you lose. It just, every time you win twice, you'll go up. You guaranteed in your card until you make it not flawless, but you'll get an adept weapon. no matter what, no matter how many losses you have. So that was already a cool addition. They updated it for trios specifically. You play Passage of Persistence with 3 people. Losses will never remove a win, no matter. So
crazy.
you don't have to win twice in a row anymore. You just every win is going to count another one until you get your adept weapon at 7.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's really good because the trios playlist is I mean, we just had a conversation about there's no one playing Crucible, I can tell you. But the trios playlist certainly does feel like there's not a ton of people in there. So this will be really good to incentivize people to play with their friends. It's like, hey, it might be a little tough because teams are organized and all of that, but you are just gonna have to win 7 times.
Yep.
Which is huge.
Huge. Yeah. So yeah, get out there and try it. That's pretty good. If there's an adept weapon you want one weekend,
Yeah.
like real chance you can get it. Like real chance. Like if you just get on an LFG, I think you got a shot.
Definitely.
And it's huge for, I know a lot of people, external memory in chat is talking about how it's huge for the trio playlist, specifically that matchmaking system. Yeah, I think that is pretty big as well.
Yeah.
For those people looking, like the bigger the population is, the better Trials is going to play.
Absolutely.
Small changes on competitive play. They basically said in comp, it was basically a long section on, hey, this is the way it is. We've moved to rank-based matchmaking. That's just, we added competitive weapon focusing, which I love, by the way. Being able to like get my rank up and then focus like 7 rolls is great, because I still don't have what I want. But yeah, so the only thing they're really doing there is changing the modes a little bit. Small
nothing
tweaks.
too crazy.
And that's pretty much it for Crucible stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff in there. Like there are a lot of graphs. So like we said, if you guys are interested, definitely check it out because there's some very interesting information in there. There was another thing that they dropped and it was like a really tiny amount of people that they were putting with teams. So if you're like a solo or a really small team, it was not happening very often. It was like a small percentage. Don't remember the percentage, but it was really small.
It was 1 out of every 333 games, I think. If you were one player going against a 6 stack, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Didn't happen very often. Thank goodness.
Sometimes it feels like it does, but yeah.
I know.
That's your
the thing.
odds.
It always feels like it's happening constantly.
The cool PvE changes too, though, we got specifically in regards to, this is something everybody's been asking for, is, hey, the exotic class items, like, how do I go and farm for these? And so they're increasing chances for drops when opening overthrow chests. And as you open chests tied to overthrow activities, your chances will increase. Higher tiered chests give bigger increases to drop chances. This should decrease the amount of time it takes on average to get exotic class items. They'll be watching for feedback. And on top of that, they're reducing chances from unrelated Pale Heart chests and free roam. So like you should go to the Pale Heart, but not just through the overthrow activity, but also increase the chance stored up from overthrow chests applies to Lost Sector and co-op missions that take place in the Pale Heart.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I like that change, not just like overthrow, because like, wow, we have done a lot of overthrow at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, that is nice that it's boosting your chances pretty much everywhere. From you doing overthrow. That's good.
And then last PvE thing was they have onslaught attunement. So basically you go to Zavala now to get an onslaught attunement menu where you can pick which Into the Light weapon you want to attune, and it increases the drop chance by 60% in onslaught. This is an increase from the 50% drop chance increase the Into the Light attunement system provided. So very high chance you get
that
your
is
weapon of
quite
choice.
high. Yeah. That's great.
Yep.
I like that.
That's about it for the TWAB. Everything else is some art stuff. And I want to point out
The art thing was kind of neat.
It is neat. Yeah.
Yeah, talk about it.
There's going to be a Destiny art show. It's coming to 3 cities, Los Angeles, New York City, and London. They say they're going to have featuring over 30 pieces of original art, including paintings, ghost sculptures, props, and more. Must-see experience for fans of all ages.
That's
it's
really
free.
cool.
Yeah.
Just be sure to keep an eyeball out on socials next week for the page link to reserve your spot. So it's Los Angeles at Gallery Nucleus, September 14th through 22nd. Or 20. Yes, 22nd. New York City, White Space Chelsea, October 17th through 20th. And London in Gallery Different from November 6th through 10th. I think I'm going to bring my kid go see this. It'll be kind of fun.
Oh, nice. That'd be
That
cool.
would be awesome. Yeah, I'd really like to go, but there's nothing anywhere near me.
Yeah.
Nope. Yep.
Nowhere near.
If you go to the Los Angeles one, I don't know if they'll allow you to take pictures, but if they do, tag us because I'd like to see those.
Yeah. Another thing, there's also, they've been doing this tournament for a while for the Bungie Foundation, and it's finaleing on July 20. That's today. Wait, why is this the thing today? Okay, well, apparently this has already happened. I thought this was when did this TWAB go live? What the heck?
It was today. Yeah.
Okay, well,
was today.
all right. It must have happened like as this was going on, so I shouldn't be talking about this. I'm sorry for anyone who wanted this emblem. I don't believe it will be possible anymore. But what is cool, what I did want to talk about was the build of the week thing they've been doing. So they've been actually featuring YouTube videos of people doing different builds, which is cool to see. And just a branch out from the normal movie of the week thing. It's like encouraging everyone to like share their builds, because there are so many builds out there. Like I feel like I'm just at the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Destiny PvE builds specifically right now. So it's really cool to see them highlighting all the cool stuff you can do with all the abilities. I just wanted to point that out.
No, I love that they're doing that. It's fantastic.
And that's it. And next week we get to look at Solstice. And weapon and armor tuning
Solstice is
updates.
happening.
I know.
This year's flying. I say that all the time.
It really is, though. It really is. It's kind of scary. I'm like, yeah, I'll get to that in 2 weeks, and then it's been 6 months. It's gone by.
Yeah.
I know. That's how I feel about Still Wakes the Deep. I'm hoping that I don't. I'm glad you're doing your thing, because that's going to force me to be like, okay, I got to do it so I can talk about it.
Yeah, you got to. You have to.
Cattail.
Let's see if we're gone forever. Oh, we're not gone forever. Nice. Fantastic.
Should we do some Twitter questions?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Hey Blaze says, which member of the DCP crew is likely to kill their frog first from neglect? Oof.
Wow.
Briar. It's gonna forget that he has a frog.
Look, I got a ton of animals that I don't even want.
I'm with you.
And being the father of the family, of course, it falls on me a lot of the time to keep this thing alive. So I think the frog's going to be pretty safe with me.
Okay, that's good. Glad to hear it.
I feel like it might be me.
You think so?
Yeah.
My ADHD like forgetfulness factor is just so high, like so very high, like that if it's not in my direct like vicinity, or like if it was like in my kid's room and I just didn't go to that corner of the room, my mind would just not go to it.
That's why my phone, like as much as I hate having a cell phone for so many reasons.
Yes.
The thing I like the most about it is the reminders app and the calendars app. Being able to remind myself just like daily things that I need to do, like, feed the dog, feed the dog. I have set for 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. I have take the trash out on Wednesdays, because how many times would I forget to take the trash if like my phone didn't say, ding, take it out.
Trash time.
Yeah. And I force myself now, when that thing goes off, do not clear it until I do the thing. Because if I clear it,
you're never gonna.
It's gone.
It's gone. It's gone forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount of times that I have run out to the road because I hear the trash truck coming.
Yeah. That's the worst feeling too. You just want to be like asleep because they come so early, right?
Oh, I'm up already, the kids, but
really?
yeah.
Our guys come like pre-dawn.
Oh yeah, that's too much. Can't do that.
Yeah. Risk says, don't know the OP, but seen these in a video online. Should I be wearing these as I make my way through my first Elden Ring playthrough? Just down Radon last night and can use a new set of IRL armor. So he's got a post. Somebody made, I would say, steel gauntlets that attach to his Crocs, like steel protective plating.
Yes.
And I'm gonna say no. We need to get off the Crocs.
Oh right, you don't like Crocs anymore.
Look, Crocs has come after my
Crocs
family
anymore.
I missed this.
Crocs
happened?
tried to kill his mother.
They killed my mother. They tried to kill my mother.
They killed my mother.
Wait.
You're gonna get a
You have made unsafe footwear, Crocs. And yes, this does help with the toe protection, but does not help with the slipperiness factor on a wet floor. It's unsafe. Unsafe.
But you always talk, Barry, about how Crocs are one Croc is not all Crocs. And was that one Croc slippery, or are all Crocs?
These were
slippery?
like new Crocs. Like new.
Okay.
They were like standard Crocs. Like your
See, that's the problem.
Croc.
They need to not be the standard. They need to be the fancy ones that you get.
Yeah, I guess. Look, you don't come after my mother. There's no forgiveness here.
Yeah.
Well, like now Lego's saying your mom's got cheap Crocs. So
no, she's got regular ass Crocs.
No, it's not me. He's the one always talking about the difference between Crocs.
Oh my goodness.
Rex says, with the 7th Column Chaos event ending earlier today, do you think Bungie should do more events like this?
I'll be honest, I don't really know what the event is. I have no idea.
It's just the tournament thing, right? Is that what we're talking
Crucible tournament thing?
Yeah.
Is that what? Oh, okay.
So
yeah. Probably. No.
I'm split on events like this because they're not, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm like not understanding this correctly, but because I haven't been in the loop as much like Watts, but it's just a Bungie selected group of content creators that are playing against each other, right? Like, and so I don't know, it felt very like a lot of the Destiny stuff that they do is very community focused, like where we can all get in on like the Bungie bounty, like everybody can get on in this time and try to get this person, and that's cool. Like I like that kind of stuff. But whenever it's like a pre-selected group of people just racing, I don't know, I'm kind of out at that point. And I get it's cool for those creators, and if it's your favorite creator, that might be fun for you to watch. But some of my favorite people were doing it too, and I just wasn't interested for some reason. And that just might be a personal thing. I'm more of a YouTube than streamer watcher anyway, so maybe that has something to do with it. But it just wasn't as much my thing.
I think that's fair.
I'm on a Destiny podcast every week, and I had no idea about this thing happening.
TWAB like every week for the past like 6 weeks, and all of us are kind of like,
what was that? What are you talking about? Yeah, I'm a little trekked out of Destiny. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I lost my spot. Give me a second.
Well,
here.
that's the thing.
Get back to it. Okay.
They do a lot of events at once. Like we're doing a huge charity thing for St. Jude's, all together.
Yeah.
We got that going on, and then there's like an art competition. There's this build YouTube competition.
They had the cosplay competition fairly recently.
Art show, and so it's just a lot. And whenever there's something that you're not that interested in, you just kind of check out.
Yeah. I do really like watching esports though, and I could see Destiny. They'd have to like steer the game in this direction, I think. But I think it would be fantastic to have like a team-based like PvP competition. I would tune into that. I guess I should have tuned into it, but I just didn't know.
And there were, speaking of that, there were definitely weeks at GCX old, whenever it's Guardian Con, where they would do tournaments like that. I think Watts playing one of them. Yeah, like like they were cool. They were fun. Like everybody watched them at the same time. I watched them from home, even if I wasn't there, at the event. That kind of stuff is really fun when it's just people from the community getting in on it and signing up for it. And I've watched competitions that other community members have put on for the community at large to jump in. That's always really cool too. So I'm with you. Like, I think that stuff is really cool. And I think one of the unfortunate things about this particular tournament is there wasn't that much, like, a lot of people talked about it on Twitter and stuff, but I didn't see a single clip from the event. And like, so a
that's a
tournament
good
like this,
point.
like, that's what I want to see, is like, get me excited about like what I'm watching, what was a play that was made in one of the last showdowns, so I can get excited about the next. Like, I never saw anything like that.
Yeah,
That's a good point.
I think Bungie should be streaming that kind of thing too, like on their Twitter page, on their Twitch page, on their Steam page. Like, I mean, they should be streaming that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think the only reason they didn't is because it was Bungie Love doing it and not Bungie themselves, and it's slightly different. But yes, I would love to see that. I would love to see more visual of it to get me interested in it too.
Yeah, get a couple of announcers in there, you know, like doing commentary and introducing like the players. Could be really fun.
It would be really fun. Yeah, that sounds great.
I'm definitely gonna go back to see if I can find to watch the stream of what just happened, because I want to see what it was like. Now I'm like kind of like, oh, did I miss out on something really cool? Like, I'm gonna go back and check it out to see how they did run it. Because I know they did have, like, they were saying that the actor who does Crow and stuff was gonna be there doing some stuff, which is always cool to see Brandon up there doing things. So
yeah, he's great.
Yeah, I'll go back and check it out anyway. But yeah, I would definitely like to see them push that a little bit more in a different way.
Blandy McBlanderson says, if the DCP crew got together to sell some kind of commodity, something other than canonical content creator merch like t-shirts or coffee mugs, what would it be? Whiskey, laundry detergent, gold bars? Yeah, I feel like we could do pot pretty good, right? Straight to your door, DCP branded marijuana, drugs.
That'd be great.
I feel like
I get Wilson to make us a pipe.
Dude, he's gonna
pipe branded DCP, like TV would for sure get on the whiskey bandwagon.
Dude, maybe we just do like all kinds of just drugs in general, right? We got a little bit of booze, we got a little bit of smoke, we got all sorts of good stuff.
Come to us for your drug needs.
Listen, we are a recreational podcast in every sense of the word.
That's right.
I love it.
We definitely have to get Wilson's involvement in this, though, for sure.
Definitely. He's the perfect person for it.
Gold bars, though. I like that.
That is interesting, yeah.
Gold bars.
The DCP branded gold bars. I remember it was real popular for a bit. I don't know if it's still popular, but a lot of content creators were like making their own like coffee flavors.
Oh, I do remember that with Italians thing that he
which I thought was pretty fun, but I was like, I just want free coffee. I think is what I I just want somebody to send me free coffee.
I feel you.
Awesomeness says, we should also say thank you, Blaney McBlanderson. Awesomeness says, we've been on Shake Your Fantasy for years, but can we talk about the fuckboy anthem that was Move Like That? It has one of the most diabolical lines I've ever heard in a song. That being said, it's my favorite song of the Tefty and Friends album. Like, I celebrate this entire catalog, to be honest with you.
That's amazing.
Also, fuckboy anthem has just been added to my vocabulary.
I love it. I didn't know. I haven't heard it.
There's a lot of good stuff on that album. I will say you got to tune into the Tefty and Memes YouTube channel because they do new music all the time.
Yeah,
and it's good.
You want to know something else?
Tefty
is interested in coming on for a one-off DCP show about his adventure in Elden Ring.
Oh my God, I'm so excited about this. I am so excited about this.
Yep. He's interested. He's like, yeah, let me know when it's a good time to come on. It's the only game he's been playing. Like, he's saying he hasn't had any time to play like anything. So he now that he is playing Elden Ring, he'd love to come on and talk about Elden Ring.
Sweet.
We'll get a time set up for him.
Yeah.
We'll just have Fran close his ear holes, I guess. I say you're gonna have to. I'm gonna go into Fran's chat. I'm gonna be like, Fran, Tefty wants to come on the show. And we're not waiting for you to get to Elden Ring. So either get to Elden Ring right now, or the
There
whole
you
game is
go.
spoiled for you.
There you go.
He hasn't played the whole game.
Bill B's Burner says, can PvP actually be fixed without a Destiny 3?
So the only thing that
wrong with
like
it.
a Destiny 3 would achieve is that they could start from scratch, right? And they could. That's the hard thing with PvP is they're trying to update it and change everything live. So things are happening here, and then things are happening over here, and it's really hard to get a good thing going like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it could definitely help with that. I don't know. I don't know where they go with PvP. I've been pretty checked out for a little bit now. Yeah, I don't know.
I think
10 years old.
the word fix, in that question is kind of that's going to be a personal definition,
Definitely,
depending on how you feel about the game. And I think in that sense, when I think about what the general community thinks about PvP, and if they're wanting to fix it, then yes, D3 or another Destiny is the only answer, because that's the only way most people are going to interact with it again who have tried it, and they're just like, I know what D2 is. They keep changing it, and I'll come back every here and there, and they're like, it's basically the same. But if you bring a new game, erase everything, you have no idea what the meta is, different abilities, all new weapons, you don't have any of the old stuff to rely on that you had before, you're forced into trying something new, kind of like how I was saying earlier about how I've been playing with a different weapon every single match that I'm in, and so the game keeps feeling fresh to me. If you force everyone to do that at the same time by just having all new weapons, then that's going to fix PvP, but it won't fix it. And it's not like it even has to change anything to do the matchmaking better, because as long as Destiny is stuck on this system where their players are connected the way they're connected to make the rest of the game work, I don't know that you're ever gonna fix PvP, but you could definitely fix it in the sense of no one knows what the meta is, and everybody's just out there having fun. It's not the same game we've been playing for 5 years, this version of it for the past 5 years. So that switches things up and makes things feel fresh and fixes PvP.
Yeah, and you can craft a experience from the beginning exactly how they want to do it.
Yes, that too.
Yeah.
Zachary Richardson says, out of all the DCP crew, what 2 pairings would make the best roommates for an apartment?
Oh gosh,
he's got some suggestions. Watson Mylan with all the jujitsu and anime. Briar at TV watching the sports channel and canoeing, enjoying beer. Holtz and Pope Bear having their own cooking channel. I am attracted to the TV pairing, but I think me and Lego would get along good as roommates. I feel like we
would too.
We'd have fun gaming, and we have similar tastes in movies and TV from the conversations we've had. Plus,
That's
Wilson.
True. That's true.
I mean,
that's all true. Why not throw someone else in?
Yeah.
I
he
feel
can fix all my controller drift. He can get me the weed things. That'd be great.
I don't know if I could share a home with Wilson. I would just be too high all the time. The temptation is too much. I just couldn't do it.
That's fine.
I feel like I would do all right as a roommate with Fran too. I'm not sure, but it feels like I would.
I don't know.
You don't know? You don't think so?
I don't know. Fran, he'll ask you something, you'll answer it, and then he'll be like, what was that? Oh, Fran, please.
See, that's kind of how I operate too, though. So I'm like, I don't know.
Do you think Fran is a neat freak?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I feel like
he has to be.
Right?
Yeah.
So organized. I bet his sock drawer is laid out by size of sock, crew, ankle, and then by color. So you know how some people do their bookshelf by color, light blue to dark blue on one bookshelf? I bet he does that kind of thing. Don't you think?
Probably. That checks out.
Checks out.
That would make sense to me.
I don't know. I say I'd be fine like rooming with somebody, but I'm such a loner. Like I'm so like introverted. Like you know
Yeah, me too.
what it's like as an introvert. You just like you're good hanging out with people for a little while, and then I need like 5 hours of like leave me alone. Like I just need to be by myself.
Yep, I'm out for 2 hours, and then I'm gonna need maybe weeks until I go out again. I need a long time. I'm now
My wife
busy.
is like that. Yeah, totally.
So when I was on the road with the band, like we'd play a night, and then everyone else would be like, "Okay, we're gonna go out and do this and that." I was like, I'm staying in the hotel room. I don't know what y'all are talking about. Like I literally
Dude,
like never.
This bitch got free HBO.
Yeah.
Oh my god, one of my favorite things to do is you get a nice hotel. Nothing crazy, but it's a nice hotel. And then you just stay in the evening and you order room service and you
that's my
watch
wife's
TV.
favorite thing. Yeah.
It's the best. It's just the best. Because we normally arrive places pretty late too, so I'm like, I don't wanna go out.
I did that once at Guardian Con. I decided I'm gonna stay like an extra day, and like that way I wouldn't have to like, because I knew I was gonna like we'd party and we'd drink that night, like the last night at Guardian Con, and I didn't want to have to like get on a plane all hungover, and it's like it just sucks. So I'm like, I'm just gonna stay an extra day, have like a day to myself to like enjoy Florida. And I ended up just staying in my hotel room, ordered room service 3 times, once for every meal, and watching movies. Amazing. It was awesome.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic.
Yeah,
it's like my favorite thing to do.
Yeah,
it's like, so there was, when we were in Japan, there was one night that I just wasn't feeling very well, so I was like, I'm just gonna chill. It was like the day we got there. I'm like, I'm just gonna relax, take it easy. And I gotta say, I had a really good time being in Osaka in the hotel by myself, ordering room service. I had YouTube on the TV. It was great. I took a nice shower in a nice hotel with a good shower, getting in the robe.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was like, I had a great time. How did you guys do?
I think it was 2 years ago I did that for my wife for Mother's Day. She's like, I just want a hotel. I just got her a hotel, like in the city we live in, just a hotel
like
room.
Her own hotel,
like by herself, not even with me.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I should do that for my wife. She would probably love it.
Yeah. She thought it was great.
Basil says Capcom has hired you to design the next flagship monster. In the least amount of words, what are you creating? Love, great job for St. Jude's. Proud of y'all. Yo, thank you, Basil.
Oh yeah.
Thank you.
Proud of it. I'm proud of all of us too, including everyone listening for coming and participating.
You just pick a type of monster or theme. I think I would want to do a jellyfish.
Ooh.
I think a jellyfish would be cool.
From its jellyfish.
Yeah, jellyfish armor would be cool. Some kind of jellyfish monster. And you're not fighting them in the water. We're not going in the water. Banned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Risky.
That would be cool. I would love that. That'd be cool. Some kind of jellyfish. I don't know what they do, but they're jellyfish. Probably electricity, maybe.
I would bring over a monster from one of the other Capcom games. Bring over a Resident Evil monster into a Monster Hunter game.
Sick. I love that idea.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah. What about, you guys have seen Attack of the Titans? Is that what it's called, the anime? Attack on Titan?
Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
What about one of those guys? Those big motherfuckers. Just this big, giant,
one of the
dumb-looking dude.
My gosh.
Right? You got to take on one of those guys. And then the armor is just giant skin.
Flesh. It's a flesh monster.
Yeah. I still got to get around to see, I think they made the last 2 seasons of that, and I got to get around to watching that.
Yeah. Yeah, they did it weird. It was the final part 1, the final part 2, the actual final part this time for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was another one of those 2 years in between seasons kind of things.
Yeah, their releasing of that was weird.
Yeah.
It's always funny when they announce the last one. Like they're doing that with the new Venom movie too. It's like The Last Dance or something like that. It's like, is it though? Is it?
No.
I don't know.
If you're gonna call it the final season, please have it be the final season.
That
or the
actor
final
who
part.
plays Venom,
Please.
he's not gonna just keep doing those forever. What's his name?
It's Mad Max guy.
Yeah.
Is it
Tom Hardy.
Hardy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good actor.
He's great. Yeah. I think he kind of is the one who makes that movie what it is.
I agree. Yeah. Twisted Joystick Podcast says best weird food combos. I'll start with my wife combines mayo with cottage cheese.
Mayo
Whoa.
and cottage cheese, huh?
Whoa.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I was gonna say cottage cheese actually for mine because it's cottage cheese and pineapples with cherries. Like that is a thing.
That sounds
my grandma used
delicious,
to make.
Lego.
It's amazing.
See, we'd
like
make great roommates.
Love it. Yeah,
I'd be like dipping
yeah.
my
See?
spoon in your cottage cheese. We'd be
Have
like,
some, right?
we'd like wrap elbows and like eat it together.
See, I just saw Wolverine and Deadpool, so I'm just picturing us like that, together.
I love it. Yes.
I think that sounds good.
Yes.
Yeah. Last night I had one of my childhood favorites, which is specifically Groton Weagle hot dogs. Do you guys have those?
Mm-mm.
Like the good hot dogs that
No.
have like the natural casing, you know what I'm talking about? The good stuff. Hot dogs and beans. I mix them together.
The good
okay,
stuff.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And B&M beans. It has to be B&M beans. Oh man. It's not like a fancy
Classic.
thing, but man, both my grandfathers made it for me when I was a kid, so it's just warm memories. Oh,
All sounds
my
right.
buddy got a pizza oven, like an outdoor pizza oven,
Yeah.
which is cool.
Mhm.
And it makes pizzas, delicious pizzas, in like 2 minutes, like because it
Oh,
heats up to
wow.
like 900 degrees,
Jeez.
and it's got like this special like turner. You gotta like turn these pizzas constantly while in there, like to get them to
Because
cook
it's
right.
so hot. Yeah.
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 So I go over their house, and they're having kind of like this pizza party because they just got this new thing. They want to show it off a little bit. And they're like, oh, you absolutely have to put the Himalayan sea salt on the pizza. I'm like, fuck you. Salt on my pizza. They're like, no, you have to. I swear it's good. So I did it. And it's like, you just made salty pizza. Salt on pizza. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people like it. I am not a fan. Salt on pizza.
I don't think I've ever had salt on pizza.
Yeah, and it
I thought
doesn't
you were gonna
matter
be
if
like,
you're
it was
if you got
amazing. It
fancy
changed
I
my
mean,
salt.
I
life.
thought that's where I was
No.
going to. I thought that's where I was going. I was
If you got
excited.
fancy salt, it doesn't matter. It still tastes like salt.
Mm. Yeah.
Oh, and my wife
Mm.
continues to dip pizza in ranch dressing, which, look,
Mine too.
we're going to counseling. We're trying to get through this, but it ain't easy.
I've definitely put hot sauce on my pizza a lot.
Hot sauce is cool, but
Hot sauce can go
ranch.
with anything.
That's very true.
yeah, I'm kind of good with that too. Not in cottage cheese, maybe.
Have you tried it? I don't know that.
No, I haven't actually.
Yeah, it might be delicious.
It
Yeah.
might be.
I could picture it.
Cottage cheese is also really good for you.
Is it?
Really?
That's what people say.
Briar's now all of a sudden like, no, I'm not so sure.
No, I'm not so sure, actually.
No, I'm not so sure.
You made
No
it to
one
the end
seems
of
to
the
know this
episode.
except for me.
Leave us a comment and let us know the truth about cottage cheese.
That's right.
Yeah. Big
Is
cheese.
big cottage cheese lying to us?
Yes. Yes, definitely.
All right. 3 more questions. Cobalt says, hey, DCP, with the Olympics opening ceremony tomorrow, which event are you confident you could win at least the bronze medal for?
None.
No. Yeah.
Yeah,
what are you talking about,
confident?
Cobalt?
Do you know how good they are at everything? They're really good.
Like, I'd have to make up my own
Really good.
event. Like, I'd have to, like, create an event. And even then, once other people learned that it was an Olympic event, I'd probably no longer be able to get a bronze medal in it, right? Like, what am I going to do? I can eat a lot of hot dogs, but there's like hot dog eating people, Like, what am I going to do?
There
here?
are hot dog eating professionals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. No, I'm not confident in me doing anything.
Yeah. Okay. Like, it'd have to be like a decathlon that I pick the 10 things that I'm best at. And like, what are the chances there's somebody out there who's better at me at these 10 things? Like, okay, we're gonna play a little Street Fighter, a little Destiny, we're gonna play a little golf, We're gonna play some. Oh shit! I'm only 3 deep, and I've already run out.
Listen,
you know
they've
what I'm
got
saying?
there's a lot of artistic categories here, and so maybe I don't have to like be good at that, but like artistic gymnastics and artistic swimming, I know, like I've seen what it looks like. It's really impressive, actually. It's
very
crazy.
impressive.
It's crazy good. Like I don't know how they do that, but since it's artistic, there's a chance I could get out there and just be artistic.
It's up to interpretation, really.
It's exactly. Yeah.
Look at him. He's taking all the rules and blowing them out of the water. He's
and
just,
they'll be like, "What? 10."
That was very artsy. Good job.
Yeah. I mean, it took real balls to drown for your art.
Now that's modern art right there.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Death. What are we saying about it? Water's dangerous. You should stay out of it.
Gabrielle Quillo says, this may have been asked before, and if so, I apologize, but I'm just curious to know, how many lows would Rob Lowe rob if Rob Lowe could rob lows? 7. If Rob Lowe started robbing banks, do you think he'd be good at it? Because he's so famous, I feel like they'd catch him right away. But
yeah,
on the other hand, he's got access to like Hollywood professionals, like makeup artists. Like they can make him look like Emilio Estevez, and like, oh, Emilio Estevez is robbing banks again. We know where he lives. You know, he's still on parole.
I'm gonna say 8.
8 banks before they catch him.
8. Yeah, we're gonna go with 8.
I just watched a great documentary about a guy who was robbing banks. I think up near you, Watts, in like the Washington area.
There's a lot of that makes sense.
Yeah,
there's a lot of documentaries about stuff that goes on here, like Ted Bundy. He was here.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So,
you ever see that picture of his house? They put his house in like this FBI warehouse.
Ooh, I don't know if I have.
Yeah.
Or maybe I have, and I don't
House
remember.
is a strong word, actually. It's more like a shack.
Okay. His Ted Bundy shack.
Yeah, Ted Bundy shack, FBI warehouse. There's pictures of it.
That sounds like a really good premise for a horror video game where like it's a museum and they've got this like serial killer's house that you're like a security guard for, and like weird stuff starts happening.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like you should make horror games, Lego.
You know, my wife asked me the other day, she was like, if you like could not erase, but like if you could see your life like going a trajectory of like a different direction from, you know, before we met, like way
like a serial killer?
younger. Yeah. Like, which direction could you see it going? I do feel like there is a version of me that like could have gone on to direct like horror movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like you gotta live that.
About.
You gotta live that LA life though, and I
don't know.
I don't want to be in LA.
Do you? I think like the horror movies, you almost can get a pass out of the LA life.
You can actually make the transition from YouTuber to horror movie director now, because that's what the people who did that. What was the movie with the hand where they grab onto it? It's like Talk to Me. That's the name of it. Those are 2 Australian YouTubers who they made YouTube videos, and they got funding to make Talk to Me, and now they're like big time horror movie directors. So
That's so
it's possible.
Sick.
It's very
great
cool.
story.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's a good movie too.
I got into the worst YouTube rabbit hole the other day. Like it was depressing, like how bad it was. It started with like, you know, like some Epstein thing, right? I was like,
okay.
Like
no.
some new Epstein like news came out. I'm like, oh, okay, let's see what happened here. And like the next video was like, here's like three examples of like child molesters like Epstein, who also were seemingly covered up by our government or like protected by our government.
Gross.
I'm like, oh God, this is like, this keeps happening. Like, cause you know, from my view, it looks like the government doesn't want people to know who Epstein was servicing, right? Like the Epstein clientele. It looks like our government is covering that up, probably because it was our government. It was people in our government. And it's like, and here's like 3 more examples of this. Like, oh my God.
That's a
See,
big
we're
rabbit hole.
close to the Briar Conspiracy Podcast, guys. We're this
close
to the Conspiracy Podcast. A special episode. Yeah, there's a lot of people who like children.
Yeah.
Like a
Powerful
lot of
people.
them.
Don't
a lot
like
of them.
that.
It's a
No,
very
no.
common thing.
Sorry to go there. Endgame Express says, last question of the night.
Sorry to go there. Anyway.
I had fun in the closed and open betas for Concord. It's not perfect, but I don't get the level of negative feedback this game is getting. Open beta numbers were very low, just 2.3K max. Do you think Firewalk need to make changes, or is this a case of a small but loud crowd?
Well,
the
I think
2.3 was just on Steam, right? So there might have been more.
It was just Steam.
With Xbox and PlayStation.
So it is not on Xbox.
Oh.
It's only on PlayStation. However, Marvel Rivals is a very similar game. I personally think a worse game, but it's just because I don't enjoy Marvel Rivals. It plays so similarly to Overwatch that it just ended up annoying me. But they have a closed beta right now, and they're at like 50K last time I checked. I'll do a quick check, but it was at like 50K. So I don't know why people don't want to give Concord a chance, but 2,300 is really, really small for an open beta for any game. Pretty much any game can have an open beta from, a bigger studio, and you can get bigger numbers than that. So I don't really know what's going on with Concord. Maybe if they went super hard on the people behind Halo, maybe it would do better. But
yeah, I feel like there's a twofold thing going on to me. Two contributing factors. One is the price. Like, people just don't want to jump in and commit to learning stuff when there are so many other games out there right now. And then the other side of that is the art factor is very like retro themed, and it just might not be in right now. And even me, like, I'm borderline like, not my favorite style. Like, I don't know what could be different. I also like am not a huge fan of the Overwatch look either. So like Marvel Rivals also doesn't really interest me. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't draw me in though. And I've seen a few articles stating that like they weren't a fan of the art direction. Even though I think it's cool, it just doesn't draw me in.
Yeah. I had the same reaction to it when I saw it. It's like the only thing that was keeping me that engaged me in any way was who was behind it.
Yeah.
But if I wasn't a Destiny fan, like, would I even know who those people were and what their pedigree was? Like, do I care?
That's the thing, right? Like, I know that I'm coming at it from someone who really loved Call of Duty back in the day, Titanfall, like all of those arena shooters where you can just do crazy stuff and see what happens. And I'm a big fan of Destiny PvP. So hearing that the studio is like 75% sandbox and people who made guns in Destiny, I'm like, well, I'm definitely going to give it a try because I love the way Destiny feels. And if we can get anywhere close to that, then I'm excited. But for other people, it's probably they don't have that.
Yeah.
But even people who play Destiny were not checking it out.
Yeah, that was strange to me. And immediately turned off to it too. Like, when I tweeted about it, everybody was like, really? Like, and I know that they didn't try it. So yeah, I did. One other thing they could do to like really help bump up the way it looks too is a lot of the trailers, the way they were cut was very like, here's this one ability in isolation and what it looks like. And here's what this other person's doing. There's their ability in isolation. But they eventually on their Twitter shared a clip of like somebody using all the abilities of one character in quick succession to take out like 3 people. And it looked really cool. And I was like, that's the kind of stuff that they need to show off, because it showed like somebody using the teleport thing to like go behind someone and then use the other ability they had. Like, and they don't show that in the trailer, any of their trailers in real time.
Yeah, that would be very
cool.
helpful if they could show how cool the combat can be.
Because there were moments where I'm like, whoa, that was awesome. Yeah.
It definitely can be.
Yeah. I do wonder if this game will eventually like switch over to being free to play.
I wonder if they're gonna like want to delay it. I mean, it's obviously really hard to delay stuff, so probably not. But
what do you think a delay would do for them?
I don't know. I don't know if they could just have like more time in the oven, or have maybe change the way the characters are a little bit to make them more appealing. Maybe they talk to people and they're like, "What is it about these characters that makes you not want to jump in and play them?"
Like,
other people are like, "Add PvE,"
we got Guardians
which I think
of the
is a little
Galaxy at
unreasonable.
Yeah.
Maybe just having more time for marketing, and like I think recently they've been doing good stuff with the marketing.
Agreed.
Like,
yeah.
There's no battle pass. You pay $40, that's it. If they could come out, and I don't know if this is true, whether they're gonna have, paid skins at some point. But if they could say, look, $40, no battle pass, you get to earn everything in the game. There's not gonna be any microtransactions. They've already said there's hundreds of cosmetics for you to earn. Then if they can keep doing that and show the super cool plays that you can do in the game, maybe it gets people a bit more excited about it. But we're currently in a bit of a climate that's also pretty rough for them.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
I don't know. It's tough. I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, we didn't really touch on that, but the climate of, I don't even know how to approach the subject, but like they're very diverse with their characters in a good way, and there's a very hateful group out there that is against that specifically, and that's something we didn't touch on, but it has been a factor of a lot of the negative stuff, similar to the Star Wars stuff we talked about earlier. There's just a group of people that are, if you just branch out at all outside of and it's insane, they will come after you and like review bomb your stuff without ever playing it, or just come in with that stilted opinion and make up their mind before they even touch it, and so they come in like spewing negativity. And I think that has been something I've seen as well.
That's the thing. I would love it if they could just, if people would just play it.
Yes, I know.
Just try it. I think you'd be surprised if you are
I
a
told
fan
you
of
I was
older...
busy this weekend.
Yeah, that's true. You didn't play it either, Briar.
I was
You're
so
part of the
busy.
problem. We're trying to play with Briar. Briar never wants to play with us.
I was busy. You heard how busy I was.
We were playing with Fran, Lego, Mylan. We had everyone together. But just try the game. I think in general, I understand if you see a game you're like, I don't know, this art style doesn't really do it for me. But I feel like there are, I mean, clearly by the numbers, there's a lot of people who are talking about not liking it and haven't played it.
Mm-hmm. Battleborn was like that for me. It was like Battleborn, the art style just turned me off in a way that I was like, I'm not going to check this out. You know, what was that Cliff Bleszinski joint? That was a PvP game. It was after he left Epic. What was that game called? It was probably 5 years ago or so.
Spellbound? Did that
Maybe.
One? I don't. I have no idea.
But that was kind of the same thing.
Lawbreakers.
Like, Lawbreakers. There it was. That was it. I was like, people said it was good. Just didn't do anything for me aesthetically, so I just kind of never gave it a shot.
Yeah, it's tough.
And like games like this, like that require like people to be online. Like if there's not a kind of minimum amount of people, I'm like,
yeah,
it's tough. It's a tough place to be.
Yeah,
new IPs are hard.
It sucks, man, because like the game is fun. It feels really good to shoot. I didn't have to change hardly any of my settings.
True.
And it felt great, which is not the case in most games. And like all of the animation work is really clean, and the cutscenes they're doing with the story is really clean, and I think they've got some interesting ideas there. So I'll be curious to see how it goes. I don't know if Sony would just be like, all right, didn't work, cut the cord, bye. I don't know.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
I hope not. Because Sony purchased this studio after seeing Concord.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not like they made a studio under Sony and then made Concord. So I don't know. We'll see. It makes me sad though, because the game does feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll check it out when it comes out. All right. I think we made it through another one. Congratulations.
We did it. You now know all the answers to all the video games and all the Briar There's.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for last week, especially. That was amazing.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys on Wednesday. I'll be doing that Street Fighter stream. We'll be back with the regular time on Thursday.
Yep.
And we'll see you next week.
Thank you guys so much. Keep it locked to hear about other streams. I think mine's gonna be the week of the whatever the 8th that Brian can't be here.
Nice.
I think it's gonna be.
No, I gotta watch that.
It might not be on the 8th, but that week maybe.
Okay. All right, guys. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.